Hello again. Brian Jennings, the Millennial Dragon. Second video today. I don't usually make 2 videos in a day, but I feel compelled. This channel is dedicated to processing my pathological relationship with Quentin Tarantino. I'm the reason that Quentin canceled the movie Critic last April. Right? And when I didn't bend to his psychic whim at a screening of Jackie Brown at De Niro Con, right? He entered into a Faustian covenant to compel me to madness and suicide. And when he failed to do that, because he's not clever, right? He stole my wisdom and has been torturing me with a palpable evil in an effort to destroy my body with his mind with black magic satanic occultism. Yeah. Right there. Dry point itching, right? So his only argument is that I'm insane, right? And what I'm saying is that I'm not clever enough to conjure this story. No. It's mentioned in my novel. I've written a novelization of my experiences on the psychic frontier with Quentin Tarantino. It's called Building a Coven, right? As in a witch's coven, right? And so, right, he's kicking his movie back off in December, right? And if this thing remains occulted, right, then he's going to torture me with a palpable evil all day, every day that he's making that movie. Right? I've reached out to a myriad of people in an effort to resolve this quietly, right? Like my heroes, right? And he's turned them all against me, right? And it's really upsetting. The jam band Fish, right? The writer David Berlinski, right? And his daughter has now begun to refuse my emails. And so I sent her one more with my other one and said, it's pretty sad. It's pretty sad. You turn a blind eye to the truth. Right? And again, right, all he can say is that I'm insane, right? Right? So that's where we're at, right? He says I'm insane. I say he's a degenerate evil man, right? That William Morris Endeavor, his agency, is a pathological, amoral establishment, right? Who insulates his evil, which no court can ever try him on, right? And so another primary reason, right, that I'm making this video now is because the trades announced 4 days ago that he's receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Burbank International Film Festival at the end of September, right? So what does this have to do with me, right? Now it has everything to do with me. It didn't have to. Right? It's mentioned in my novel. Right? A year ago, right before I went to go see Fish, I heard him say, "This guy is nothing." And I got it. I got the message. Okay. Right? I lose. Right? And had that, right? All he had to do, at any point from A to B, right? To get me to not have this channel, to get me to not have to initiate the entire world, was produce a non-disclosure agreement, right? If he's using my scene, pay me a meager amount for the scene. It's the most badass scene anyone ever sent him, right? And then, right? And then he could have just talked a bunch of shit about me, and that would have been fine, But rather than do that, right? He and the degenerates that surround him, right? Because he's not a cool guy. He's an evil, dangerous man. All decided, oh no, this guy, right? This guy doesn't want to, right? He doesn't want to submit. He doesn't want to bend the knee. So we'll overwhelm his mind, right? And so, again, right, psychic scientist, millennial dragon, they can't do that, right? All they can do is be evil, right? Which is far easier, right? You can heal the sick, right? And that's what he should be doing, right? That's my point, right? These things that he does, to make me miserable, right? To try to give me AIDS, right? To make me believe that he's poisoning me with the destroying angel mushroom, right? He could exert that same intention upon someone's tumor and dissolve it, right? That's my point, right? And this isn't me talking, right? This is Michael Talbot, the holographic universe, right? This is established reductionist materialistic science, right? And so I sent them an email. The mayor of Burbank, the mayor of El Segundo, they're all taking their shoes off for Quentin. So I sent them all an email, and I'm going to fucking email them every day, right? Because again, right, to bring back my first point, why does this involve me, right? Right? When he spoke at Cannes some months ago, right? He had people on me, torturing me, all day, all night, the whole time that he was speaking, that he did his retrospective of that 50s filmmaker, Red Canyon, and whatever the other one was. And it took me, maybe a day. It took me a little bit of time because I didn't, it was bewildering me. I said, why is this, we're so far into this. I don't give a fuck what Quentin Tarantino does, right? Say it again, right? Shove it up your ass, right? No movie star Brian, right? If this is what Hollywood thinks is cool. No. No, that's base evil behavior, right? But he's not actually cool, right? If he was cool, he would have produced the NDA, paid me something for my scene, and said, "There's the door," right? Don't let it hit you where the good Lord split you, right? But he went, wah! He's a child in his mind, floundering in the ocean, right? So, right? My point being, right, that since he went out of his way to torture me while he was doing his engagement at Cannes, I have to be exponentially more prepared, 4 times more vigilant than I was then, right? So while he's doing his career retrospective and yawking it up with Scott Feinberg from The Hollywood Reporter, right, I'm going live on here for the first time, and we're going to talk about it, right? So, right, got a book in the mail. Polyhedron models, classic. Right? This is the key to Solomon's Temple. Right? This is why Freemasons use the compass as their symbol, because it unlocks a celestial resonance in your mind. It liberates your mind from the confusion of God's omniscience. Right? So before we begin, I'm going to read another passage from this book because it's so good. Right? The existence of a principle of energy and motion in the world is an undeniable certainty. Another certainty, equally undeniable, is the existence of a principle of differentiation and harmony, and this is spirit. Thus, spirit is not substance, but it is the law of substance. It is not force, but it is the revealer of force. It is not life, but it makes life exist. It is not thought, but it is the consciousness of thought. Spirit is the sole and single source of power. Matter is a product of spirit. The world's activities are the reflections of God's thoughts. The forces of nature are the varied action of God. The unity of matter is unquestionably a fact. The atoms of all bodies are composed of one and the same matter, distinguished only by the nature of the motions set up in it. Motion alone rules and determines the variety of different attributes that characterizes these atoms. Sulfur, oxygen, and copper are all composed of one single substance, of one energy, each by a distinct system of definite vibrations. Force is an energy analogous to our will. We conceive it, but not definitely shaped to our fancy. We know that it is, as we know that spirit is, but we cannot, for the nature of each eludes all the efforts of our intellect, materialize them or give them shape. Yet nothing is more certainly known to be and to be a force than the will, the impulsion, tendency, or inclination that turns the magnetized needle to the north, and the force or forces that cause motion, development, and growth in the ovule. All physical phenomena, whatever their nature are, at bottom, only manifestations of one and the same primordial agent. There is in every ovule, in the inmost depth, and dating from the most rudimentary sketch of the organized being, the fixed and formed idea of those differences in choice and sympathies in work, whose system is to build up the individual. Force and spirit are the only means we have of conceiving the activity and the appearance of beings. Form makes the whole reality of material things, and it is the work of an intelligence. The energies localized in the atoms are not properties of the atoms, and the source of differentiations among the atoms cannot be in the energy itself, but in a principle apart from it, a superior will and consciousness analogous to our own. Right? So this is, right? That's a lecture on Masonic symbolism by Albert Pike, right? Yes, I am aware, right, of his racist writings. Right? I understand. Someone wants to write off his wisdom as a result of that. Right? I won't fault the people who destroyed his statue in Washington, D.C. during the George Floyd riots. But it's all there. It's all there. Everything that I've been saying, right, is all there. Right? That life emerges from a singular origin. Right? That there is that all things reside as idea, right, and manifest as a corrupted shadow of the idea, right, through God's thinking, which is manifested as pressure, right, as a pressure condition in the outside world, right. And so he's referring to Plato, right, but this is also Russellian science. It's every sage wise offering of the mystery traditions for all time.